Hi, I'm Molly. And I'm Jamie, and this is our From the Pasture with Hired Hand podcast. As the owners of Hired Hand website software, we've been developing websites and creating internet marketing strategies for livestock breeders for the past 10 years. The majority of our customers are involved in the breeding of registered animals, such as Texas Longhorns, Highland cattle, horses, and white-tailed deer, where the pedigrees are very important. The From the Pasture with Hired Hand podcast examines many of the differences in raising pedigreed livestock for maximum profit. Join us and learn what we're covering today.
So today I'm here with John and Erica from Higgins Farms. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We just made their site live recently, and so today we're going to get to know a little bit more about them and their breeding program. So why don't we start by just both of you telling us a little bit about yourself, about your breeding program.
I am Erica, and this is John. And we started, we had an interest in Longhorns probably starting back in 2015.
Yes.
We went on a trip to San Antonio. They had a Longhorn there, and I was in awe. And I think in 2019, we went on a retreat to a farm in Alabama, and they had Longhorns there. And I told John, wouldn't that be so cool if we could have Longhorns on our farm in Kentucky? Because, you know, we're the home of the racehorses. And so I thought it would be different to have a unique animal there. So we started looking into Longhorns, and I guess we finally made our decision in 2020 that we were going to start having a farm full of cattle.
Right. Originally, we had horses on our farm, and I grew up with horses pretty much my entire life. My dad's always had quarter horses or some kind of teams of small ponies like halflingers. But while there is some money to be made in horses, there's typically just a lot of money that you can spend on horses. And so we were looking at something that would provide, you know, another source of income for us, as well as something that would be kind of a neat hobby that we could both participate in.
So you kind of answered this a little bit, but what specifically about the Longhorns kind of just drew you in and made you decide to go for it?
We just wanted something unique. You know, I think, you know, cattle, we live in a place where there's lots of farmland and lots of cattle, but not very many Longhorns. And so I think we just wanted something unique and different.
So in 2020, when you decided to finally pull the trigger and purchase one, tell us a little bit about how you found them, who you bought your first ones from, like why those Longhorns, just kind of walk us through that process.
That's kind of an interesting story because John has a office, a staff of people that wanted to get him a Christmas gift. And one of his staff approached me and said, "Hey, John's been talking about Longhorn cattle for some time. And what if we bought him one for Christmas?" And I thought, a Longhorn for Christmas? How's that work? And so she said that she had actually been on the internet and had been talking to a lady that was in Danville, Kentucky, which is about an hour and a half, well, two and a half hours probably from us. And so she said, "I'll give you her information." And it's probably meant to be because her name is Erica too. And so I called her and I said, "I was given your name. We're interested in Longhorns, but I know nothing about them. So I'm going to need you to guide me through it." And so Erica Cook with Bluegrass Longhorns is who we got our first few cows from. And she really did a great job at teaching me. You know, whenever I got off the phone with her, I was like, okay, I know a thing or two about a cow now. But it was interesting because, you know, that was a unique Christmas present that we were going to probably start it in, I would say, the spring of 21. But when they wanted to give him a Christmas present in December, we kind of fast forwarded our process a little bit.
So how did they present it to you? I'm just curious. Did they try to wrap it? Did they walk it into your office?
Well,
yeah, absolutely. They had it wrapped up with a bow on each horn, and it came jumping out of the barn. No, I'm just joking. But Yeah, that's kind of an interesting story too, because that group of vice presidents that worked for me, we'd actually been on a leadership team retreat out to Arizona, and we've been out in Scottsdale for about a week. And so I was kind of frustrated, and I didn't really know the cooks at the time, and they're actually really great people. But I was frustrated because I kept telling Erica, hey, if we're going to buy these 3 or 4 cows from them, how come they won't deliver these cows? But I didn't realize that the staff was actually planning on, once we got back from the trip to Arizona, they were going to drive up and actually pick up all the cows and bring them to me, or bring them to us. And that one afternoon at the farm, when we got back from Arizona, I wasn't expecting anything. And all of a sudden I just looked up, and coming down the driveway was, one of my vice presidents, convoy of vehicles, right? And one was one of my vice presidents, and he had a cattle trailer behind his truck. And I thought, what in the world are they doing? And then, I kind of thought, oh, this is going to be something, really unique. But they were actually great. They actually went up there. They gifted us one. Her name is Tessa. And then we purchased 3 others, Casanova's Crown Jewel, Proud Emma, and Trifecta. But actually they had all 4 of them in a trailer. And so, once we learned that was a special gift, and then we went into the field and actually were able to turn them loose, and, we had our Longhorn cattle. And I will say that is a gift that's kept on giving, because we were planning on waiting until the next spring, whenever the weather was better. But we kind of had a cold, snowy winter that winter. And so, I was out there breaking ice and doing all kinds of things to make sure that the cattle were plenty fed and watered.
Now, did you make your vice presidents go with you to break ice?
I wish I could have. But no, we have a watering system on our farm, but it actually got that so cold it actually froze part of that up. And so, but it was not a problem to thaw it out, but it was definitely the gift that kept on giving that winter.
He said, see, we should have waited until spring. And I said, you need to take that up with your staff.
Yeah.
They didn't wait till spring.
Yeah.
So do any of them still come occasionally visit the animals, or is the office too far from the ranch, or how does that work?
We have some that'll still come.
Yeah, they still come out occasionally. And visit with us. They've taken lots of pictures, and they've been out on the farm, especially after we had the first few calves last year. We had lots of visitors come out to the farm to kind of see the new babies.
So now that you have them, what's your favorite part?
I'll let Eric go first on that one.
Mine is the babies. I love having the new birth, new life on the farm. I got to witness our first one being born, and John had gone to work, and I called him and I was like, something's not right. I think she's going to have a calf. And so she was walking around in the field, and I had always been told that a cow will give birth generally standing up. So I'm expecting her, like I'm watching her pace around the field, and I watch her stand up, and I don't see anything. And then she lays back down, and I'm like, come on, get back up. Well, then when she got back up the second time, the calf was there, and I was like, we have a baby. It was really unique.
What's your favorite, do you have a favorite color or a favorite color pattern, or you're just excited to see them all and see what they are?
I love seeing how the different colors, how you can mix the different colors and what they actually come out to be. Because honestly, that's the crazy part about genetics. You can study that all the time, but you really don't know. Mm-hmm. So I don't know that I necessarily have a favorite color. I think initially when we first got started, I loved the white, is that called the roan? Mm-hmm. And then we were told, well, the white kind of takes over, so you want to be careful. And I'm like, oh, maybe I don't need any more white.
I really think my favorite part's just spending time with the cattle. They really are super intelligent, super hardy. Each one kind of has a different personality. I mean, we've got a small herd, only 9 cows and calves, and including our couple of bull calves. but so we get to spend, a lot of time, with them and just seeing just their different personalities and the different ways that they react and do different things around the farm. Has been really a neat experience for me. As far as the color, I kind of like our couple of brown cows. I'm still more of a fan of the brown and white. So definitely Casanova's Crown Jewel and then Emma are kind of my two favorite cows. And we bought one at the Longhorn sale, the Bluegrass sale last year in 2021, I guess. We bought Carolina's Pride out of a farm down in South Carolina. And she's also another one of those brown cows that I just think is really beautiful.
So tell us a little bit, walk us through kind of what the future looks like for you. What are some of your goals and dreams that you have for your breeding program?
Ready to go first? So, originally we got into this as just kind of a hobby. This was just something that we wanted some cattle to have on the farm, that could be a source of income. But it wasn't something that we were, I don't want to say super serious about, but something that wasn't going to be our main living.
We weren't super serious until his staff found the Bluegrass Longhorns, and everything there is a Texas registered Longhorn. And so we weren't just getting Longhorn cattle, we're getting the Texas Longhorn cattle.
So we joined the Texas Longhorn Breeders Association. And, for us, it's still going to be a hobby, type thing. But we've actually partnered this year with a 2020 cattle company here in the Bowling Green area. We leased one of their bulls last December. His name is Armored. They actually brought him in from a farm in Virginia. And so he spent 3 months with us and he's covered all 6 females. And so we're expecting, 6 more calves sometime in August or September. And so, for us, I think we would like to just continue to, stay somewhere under 20, cows, calves, and bull calves within our herd, and potentially market some, every year and sell, 3 or 4 would be a kind of an ideal thing for us. So I can't say that we have any goals. I mean, yes, we would like to have, healthy cattle, ones that have a great, great set of horns, that are definitely healthy, and good looking cows. But I don't know if there's any one specific thing that we're shooting for, as far as, a certain size or a certain dimension to the cows.
Yeah. And I kind of like the, learning about their temperament and what, we don't want anything wild on our little hobby farm, but, just finding that personality that fits with us. I think, all animals have a personality, and that's what, we've already seen some that maybe we don't think fit as well as what we would have hoped, but we're kind of adapting to that and hoping that in the future we can, be a little bit more selective about what we get into.
Love what you're hearing? Be sure to check out our Pickup Truck Confessions. It's a video series where we hop in the truck or rental car and interview a variety of breeders about what drives their passion for their livestock, how they got started in the breed of their choice, marketing tips, and more. And now back to the podcast.
Okay. So we talked a little bit about the cooks, and you mentioned 2020 is that you leased your bull from. Is there anyone else that you guys want to mention that helped you get started or played a role in you, getting to where you're at today?
I really think those are the main two. I mean, the cooks were great to, help us kind of get our start. The one thing that we have there is that a couple of those cows that we got from the cooks, they were actually bred to Tough Cowboy. And so Tough Cowboy's been, kind of a pretty well-known bull here the last 4 or 5 years, in the association. And then 2 of the calves that we bought from them, or 2 of the heifers, were actually daughters of Tough Cowboy. So we definitely have a lot of that bloodline, in what we're doing. And so that's one of the things we're trying to do is diversify our genetics, a little bit more. And so that's why we got involved with 2020. They're local. Chase and Elizabeth are great people to work with. As Erica mentioned, we're both kind of novices. And so for us, we're, have a little bit of experience, but not a whole lot. So we're learning as we go along. And so, Chase and Elizabeth have been great to work with and kind of mentor us a little bit, as we travel down this journey with our Longhorns.
So before we shift gears and talk about your website for a little bit, is there anything else that you want to mention about your breeding program or anything related to the cattle?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else that we want to mention. I mean, again, we're excited for a good calving season this summer.
And getting new blood.
Yeah, and adding some different blood into what we're doing. Our goal this year is to get out and to be at a few more sales than what we did last year, and to meet some more people, because it's really a neat connection, with a lot of people, in the association and kind of in the industry, so to speak.
For sure. All right. So changing gears to your website, tell us a little bit about what made you decide to get a hired hand website.
I think hired hand was all over everything that we had seen. On the Bluegrass Longhorns with the cooks, they use the hired hand. I think the 2020 cattle company with Chase and Elizabeth Lunsford used the hired hand, and the first and only sale that we went to, the Bluegrass sale, everywhere you looked, it said hired hand. And so I think that just made sense to us. Honestly, I don't know that we even looked around for anything else. I mean, having it all front and center, any information that you need to search for, having it all there with the hired hand it just made sense to us.
Yeah. I really like the integrated part with the genetics or the bloodlines, so that all that's kind of kept in that one central database or repository. And so that you can, look at cows across different farms and across different breeders. And so that was something else. As we were looking at cows at different times, we would click on, one website, you would see the genetics. It would take you to, see this other farm, and you would go to a different farm and there's hired hand as well. So, I really believe they are or you all are the leaders in the industry. And I can say really from the first experience I had with the team there, like making that first initial call to get the website set up and to get started, everyone's been super nice, extremely friendly. And I really feel like that customer service is great at hired hand, that there's, everyone's always willing to help out or answer a question and kind of point you in the right direction.
Oh, great. That's what we like to hear, for sure.
Yeah.
So when you were working on kind of deciding what your website was going to look like, your message strategy, what were some considerations or some decisions that you had to make when working on that part?
I think one of the things that we were working on was not only just our physical brand, and I use that word. I guess there's two contexts for that. One is the brand, we put on the cattle, but it's also kind of the brand of the farm, right? And so thinking about, what that might look like. We had a local company here in Bowling Green help us design the logo and kind of come up with a color palette, for the website. And I was really amazed at how quickly, once we talked to hired hand, they turned around like design samples and things for us to see. I mean, I've got a company, we're a logistics company. We're celebrating our 20th anniversary. We've got a website. We produce videos and things for our company all the time. But the speed at which the folks at hired hand turned around that color palette and generated ideas and things for us, was pretty amazing, in my experience.
John has a little bit more experience on website design and et cetera, but so he let me take the reins on our cattle company. And hired hand was very efficient, like you said, on getting everything. If I would send in any content, I was able to get it back immediately. And then he would say, well, when's the site live? And I'm like, well, I need to do this, or I need to do that. And he was like, what are you waiting on?
Yeah.
So I was the delayed instead of hard hand.
So now has Angie met with you both to train you, or is one
Yes.
of you assigned to make updates and the other's not allowed to touch it? I know we have a lot of those situations where the wife just tells the husband, you don't touch it, you'll mess it up. I got it.
Well, I had the training, and I've kind of walked over some of the things with John. Most of the content, though, I believe I've been putting in, and like I said, he's kind of turned it over to me to operate that. So it's not that he's off limits, but I have had the training.
Okay. So is there anything that you're doing with the site to try to stand out in the breed specifically? Or I know you guys have mentioned a few times you're trying to just, keep it very simple, kind of your hobby that. So I don't know if this question, really applies or not. You'll have to let me know.
Well, and I don't know that we're just trying to get exposure, and it doesn't have to be, on a grand scale. Hopefully the more that we touch the web page and, put it out on our social media, that we have it, that we'll get some exposure that way. I would like to try to update it, I guess, once, maybe every couple of months, just to get new content on it. I think people like to see new things when they revisit sites. When in my training, she said that, for your internet purposes, you need to go in and actually touch it however often you say you're going to touch it. So we've delegated that to be a month. And I think we've done that so far, trying to, re-update the measurements of the cattle and,
New pictures.
And, even the fact that we've had them, checked by a vet for an ultrasound, to make sure that they were in fact pregnant. So we're trying to put that out there. As far as growing it, I don't know at what speed we want to grow it, because we still want to be small. So I don't know if that necessarily applies, but
small, but you still offer animals for sale. So that's important.
Yes. Yes. Right. Yeah. And we do have a few that we've put out there for sale, just to kind of see if anybody even looks at it. So we're not trying to aggressively sell, but we've got them out there.
I think one of the things we're wanting to work on more in 2022 is developing a better social media presence, so that social media can help drive people to our website as well. And so something we were just talking about over the last weekend, is we were doing some things. We moved the cows around from one different field to another field. Most all the fields on the farm are connected except for this field that we moved them into. This field is not connected to the others with the gate. So therefore we had to, move them across the road. So it was a great learning experience for us, as well as it kind of shown how we've kind of become better at kind of herdsmanship, and moving the cattle. And you've always got to have patience, with our cows. But one of the things we were talking about is we really should have documented some of that more and kind of put that out on social media so people could, kind of see that, so that they know what goes on day to day. Because one of the reasons for moving the cattle out of the other pastures is so we could go in and spray for weeds and things and kind of get the pastures ready to harvest hay here in May. So again, there's a whole lot of work that goes into it that people maybe don't really understand, but they might be interested to understand something like that. So
definitely. Great idea.
Yeah.
All right. So last question here. We said we save our favorite question for last. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. So aside from your own website, what is your favorite hired hand website? Who wants to go first?
I would probably say the websites that have to do with the auctions and the sales, because I like to go out there and kind of see things as they're coming up. And there's another guy here. I'm not sure if Danny, he doesn't have a website or anything. There's another close friend of ours. Their farm's probably about 6 or 8 miles from our farm. And we're probably about 6 to 9 months ahead of them in the Longhorn, I don't want to say Longhorn business, but as far as having Longhorn cattle. But, you know, Danny has never been to a sale in person. Danny has probably a herd of like 10 or 12 cows, you know, at his farm, or cows and calves at his farm. But all of that's been done through hired hand auctions. And so at the bluegrass sale in 21, you know, he was virtual and bought a couple of cows up there. I think there's been a couple of sales down in Texas that he's been virtual at as well. So we've been, you know, attending some sales in person and just kind of looking at results and things, you know, of upcoming sales. But I would probably say those auction sites to me are kind of interesting to see, you know, what's actually happening, and that we're able to do that in real time. You know, that's just one of the modern things we enjoy these days, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that I have a specific favorite. I think there are so many different, like there's not one website that looks the same. And I think even though it's the hired hand software and the hired hand that's helping people like us develop the internet or develop our website, they're all different. And I think that's really unique that everybody can do their own thing on it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some that are a lot more elaborate, and there's some that probably have a person delegated to do their website and do it much better than I do.
Yeah. Some people have been told to keep their hands off of it, right? So, yeah.
But I don't know that I have a favorite. I think a lot of them that when we're on there looking at the different cows, linking them from different farms, you know, seeing it take us to different pages, and they're all unique. They're all really cool.
Were you at any point when you were doing your research, were you ever surprised by how many other breeders there are in Kentucky? Were you kind of thinking they were just all in Texas, or did you know that there are already a lot near you?
I don't know that there's still a lot near
Yeah.
us. There's probably 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Within our, I would say maybe a 150, 200 mile radius, there's maybe 5.
Okay.
So we're still a rarity.
Good point.
In many ways here. Yeah.
Well, thank you both so much for joining us today. I know this podcast probably won't be released before the bluegrass sale, but hopefully if you're planning to attend this weekend, you get to meet a lot of fellow breeders and some new people as well. So
We'll be there.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
well, thank you again.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.